Okay, so the scene starts off in Britain around the time that Duke Dennis was born, and the Hunting's hunter narrator must have switched shows cause he's over here telling us that the fate of the world is within the hands of Merlin and his 3 apprentices, Balthazar, Veronica and Horvath. But Horvath done betrayed the whole group, joining Morgana in her plans to raise the dead and take over the world for a reason I won't disclose yet. So just as Merlin's about to take out Morgana, Horvath pulls up, undoing the spell, allowing Morgana to stab Merlin. They then continue with their plans, but Balthazar pulls up. Morgana hits him with Tamari's jutsu, and just before she can end him, Veronica pulls up, using a spell to bring Morgana's body into hers, basically making her Jinchuriki. But Morgana was destroying her from the inside, so to save her life, Balthazar seals her inside the Grimhold. Merlin then gives Balthazar his ring, saying that he should find the Prime Millennium. He's the only one that can destroy Morgana forever. So Balthazar goes on a 1,000-year search for the Prime Millennium while also capturing more people inside the Grimhold, including Horvath. Bro really thought he could get away. Nope. Balthazar called bro up talking about some
I will look for you, I will find you, and I will kill you.
But we then fast forward to the year 2000, and around this time Duke Dennis was going through his experimental fashion stage, and we got our main character Dave and Rowley over here on a school trip. They put up to see the Statue of Liberty, and Dave's over here passing notes telling everyone to pass it down to his school crush Becky, asking her if she wants to be his girlfriend. Now this is a very risky tactic. Anyone could just open that note, read it, and now you got the whole class laughing at you. 4 out of 10 wouldn't recommend. But Becky reads it and has to take a good look at Dave, trying to figure out whether she really likes Buddy or not. Rowley over here almost messed up the whole play, but Becky takes one of the boxes. Dave goes to grab it, but it gets swept up in the ring and gets taken by some random guy's bike, so Dave runs after it, leaving the whole class. Teachers must be future NBA refs. They ain't see a single thing. Got LeBron over here tweaking, and that boy Dave had to run a whole marathon just to find this note, finding it on a door of a store in a dark alleyway. Yeah, this would have been my first sign to turn around. The note is not worth it, I can make another one. Dave then goes to grab the note, but it gets sucked into the store through the letterbox, so he goes inside to look for it, and it's a massive antique store. He spots a lantern and instantly starts rubbing it, trying to wish for a brown skinned earthy girl. Me and you the same, brother. But he accidentally drops the lamp and starts backing up, messing up the whole store, almost dropping this massive vase, but Balthazar pulls up, catching it, and he won't even start with a hey hello. Says that if you open this up, you're trapped in there for the next 10 years. Buddy has no social skills. But Dave tells him he's looking for a note. It blew into his store by coincidence, and Balthazar's over here jumping to conclusions, running to go grab Merlin's ring. I won't even blame him. After searching for over 1,000 years, I'm jumping to any conclusion I can find. Buddy's lived the life of the immortal, gone from ancient Egypt to Victorian time just to look for this guy.
What more do you want from me?
So he shows Dave the ring, puts it on his hand, and the dragon wakes up, attaching itself to Dave's finger. Got Balthazar over here happy as hell. His quest is finally over. He pulls up on Dave, giving him the D1 coach speech, telling bro he's about to make him the best player in the country. Whole time they left him on the bench for the whole season. He then tells Dave to wait there and not touch anything. He's about to go grab his incanters for him. So he goes downstairs to grab the incanters, and Dave over here accidentally pulls out the Grimhold from inside the wall with his new powers. He picks it up, it starts to unlock, and Dave drops it, opening it up on impact, releasing the first layer of Horvath. And bro's been in there for 1,000 years with no shower. No wonder Buddy awakened with roaches. I just know he smells. And bro must have had a bad time in the Grimhold, cause he instantly goes to murk Dave for no reason at all. But Balthazar pulls up just in time, slamming Buddy into the roof. He then goes to grab the Grimhold to trap Buddy again, but Horvath grabs his star, pushing Balthazar away. Horvath then falls down, pushes a cabinet into Balthazar, and goes to grab the Grimhold, but Balthazar breaks out and hits Buddy with a dive tackle. He must have been in the NFL at some point during these 1,000 years. That was elite. So they get in a tussle, showing off different tricks. He's over here fencing with John Cena, and Balthazar's over here charging up a whole Kamehameha, shooting at Horvath, but he blocks it, grabs some fire and starts shooting at Balthazar, lighting the whole place up. Some water then falls on Dave. Horvath pulls up on him, telling him to give him the Grimhold, but Balthazar gon' jump through the fire, hitting him with another NFL tackle. Bro's basically pro. Horvath then grabs Daniel's leg, but the vase opens up, capturing both Horvath and Balthazar in it, meaning they're about to be trapped in there for the next 10 years. They gon' have to find a way to get along. Dave then runs out the store and instantly throws the Grimhold into the street. He ain't trying to have no part in that. His teacher and his class then pull up on him, and he's over here saying that 2 guys in the store are tweaking. They set the whole place on fire. Him and his teacher then go to check it out, but the whole place is back to normal, making him look crazy. But to make things worse, the water that splashed on him makes it look like he peed himself. Got the whole class starts laughing at him. Damn. Becky's over here trying not to laugh out of sympathy. We then fast forward to 20 years later, and Dave is now 20 years old, and today is actually his birthday. And whenever this guy speaks, literally the only thing I can hear is hiccup. Just close your eyes and watch a video of him talking. Literally the only thing you can picture is hiccup. Anyways, his roommate invites him to a party with a bunch of Princeton cheerleaders, but Dave turns it down, saying that he's got to finish his project so he can graduate. But his roommate's over here telling him to be a wolf. He's got to be sharking 24/7, otherwise he's gonna get left out the pack. Dave then goes to college to give a presentation to a class. Someone opens the door, sending a bunch of his papers flying around. He goes to pick them up, but ends up at the feet of a snow bunny. Hey, and all I've got to say is that Dr. Uma ain't even a real doctor for real. I just know he be playing in the snow as well. I just haven't got any proof yet. Dave then says sorry for looking creepy, but just as he's about to leave, he turns back because he thinks he recognizes her from somewhere. He just can't put his finger on it. He says the name Becky, saying they were in 4th grade together, and she recognizes him too, saying that he must have transferred. She didn't see him again after that whole incident. And bro gon' dumb it down to glucose imbalance and hallucinations. But class then ends, and Dave must be taking Riz advice from TikTok comment sections, cause he decides to follow her trying to make small talk. So he drops her off at the radio station cause that's where she works, saying that she will now have one extra listener. But their antenna gets hit with some lightning, and Dave decides to fix it for them. Hey, that nerd Riz goes crazy. Girls nowadays be talking about how they want a nerd. Whole time they talking about Henry Cavill in glasses. Dave then leaves, pulling up to his underground lair, and starts listening to her radio show while working on his project. And I'm over here thinking the project's about to be something casual like a paper mache volcano. I was sorely mistaken. Buddy's a genius. He's got a bunch of copper coils that conduct electricity, and he can even play music with them. We then go over to the vase, and now there's been 10 years it opens up, with Horvath being the first one to come out. Couple was over here in complete shock. They thought they got a deal on the vase. 50p? Yeah, something was bound to happen. Horvath then grabs the vase and decides to chuck it out the window, so Balthazar was spawning in the worst possible place, in a room with Diddy. So Balthazar comes out the vase, falling 100 feet down to the floor, and somehow manages to hold onto the side of the building before falling onto the ground. Realistically, Buddy's arm should have been taken off. We then cut back to Dave as he's pulling up to the crib, and Horvath's in the corner waiting for bro, like he's a parent waiting for you to bring back your report card. And Dave's over here confused, like he's so Illuminati.
Are we living in a dream?
Horvath asks him where the Grimhold is. Dave says he doesn't know, trying to run out the room, hitting the door and running out. And Horvath gon' see the poster his roommate was talking about earlier, creating whole ass wolves to chase after Dave. He runs into the train station and the wolves follow, over here swiping his cards. They hit him with the Among Us, too far, swipe again. But he makes it through, leaving the wolves stuck on the other side. He's over here laughing in their face just for them to pop through the doors. Instantly got to hide him. Buddy knew he was cooked. But one of them spots him from the other side. He tries to hit the dash but ends up tripping. The wolves jump on him, but they turn into puppies on the way down. Turns out Balthazar done pulled up, hitting Horvath in the face with the foot of his steel eagle. He lands, puts Horvath in slow motion, throws some paper in front of the train instructor to stop him from seeing. Dave climbs up, he turns the puppies into paper and they fly off. Horvath barely escaped from being hit by the train. They then pull up on the top of a building. The eagle turns back into Batman's aura farming point, and Dave's over here tweaking, saying that Balthazar will mess up his life again. People are still making fun of him because of that. But Balthazar ain't listening to nothing, asking bro where the Grimhold is, explaining that Horvath's trying to release all the Morganians inside of it to take over the world. But Dave's over here saying that he wants nothing to do with magic. He's trying to be a regular person and live a normal life. So Balthazar sends his whole drawer flying towards him, opening it up and showing that bro kept the ring. And Dave over here scrambling for excuses, saying that he was about to sell it. Cap. So Balthazar tells him that Horvath last saw him with the Grimhold, so he's now on his hit list, and tells him that if he helps him get back the Grimhold this one time, he's done. He can go back to his regular life. And Dave agrees. Balthazar then does a tracking spot to find the location of the Grimhold, and they drive off in the classy V. And we get an explanation of what the power system actually is, saying that normal people only use 10% of their brains, but sorcerers are able to use 100, which allows them to manipulate matter. And the steps to do this is to first clear your mind, second see the molecules, and third make them vibrate. But that's if you want to create fire, hence the vibrating. They then pull up to Chinatown, and as Balthazar's looking around the store, the owner comes in asking if she can help. He starts to speak Cantonese, but she's over here saying that it's Mandarin, so he decides to slam it into the wall. Whole time it was Horvath. Bro, this is a risky play. She could have just got her languages mixed up. Now you just slammed a random old lady into a wall. Gang, you gotta think before doing that. A random person then starts to spawn in behind Balthazar, and Horvath over here shows that he done opened up another Lego of the Grimhold, spawning in Zuko over here. He shoots a bunch of nails at Balthazar, but he blocks it using his jacket. I just know he's mad. It's gonna mess up his effing Lego. And he hits him with an air blast, sending him out the window. Got Dave over here confused, he's thinking it's part of the show, just for him to look up and Balthazar tell him to run. So he hits the dash and Zuko starts to play with the dragon on his stomach, turning the fake dragon over here into a real dragon. The people inside must be confused as hell, they all got hit with a fusion, combining them all into a dragon. Balthazar then creates a smoke screen using the confetti and Dave runs into a building. But Zuko don't even need to see to chase him, he could control the dragon from right where he is. Balthazar then ties Horvath up, pushing away his staff and taking the Grimhold before hitting the Batman dive into the confetti. And the dragon is still chasing Dave through the building, got him hitting the Captain L run. He climbs out the window onto the stairs and tries to hit Zuko with some magic, but he just can't get up. And Balthazar's over here telling him to clear his mind just for the dragon to pull up, shooting fire behind him. Guys can't even clear their minds to focus during the test, imagine with a fire-breathing dragon behind them. Zuko then brings the dragon outside the building trying to climb up to Dave, but Dave over here don't realize that he's a master builder, shooting a fireball at the dragon on Zuko's stomach, setting the tail on fire. And Balthazar does the same thing, setting the whole dragon on fire, causing it to fall off the building, landing on Zuko, killing him. Bro could have done that this whole time, he was waiting on Dave to unlock his true potential. That boy Dave done came down the stairs all hyped, thinking he's that guy, making the same face guys make after the simplest interaction with the opposite gender. Get on the phone and start telling the guys a completely different story. Gang, she asks you for the answers to the test, she does not want you. That boy Horvath then looks out the window to see Dave with Merlin's ring, he's in complete shock but he cannot believe it. Dave and Balthazar then escape, dressing up as police. They hop in the V and Balthazar tells Dave to give him back the ring. Since he got the Grimhold, now he's done, he can go back to regular life. But after getting a taste, Dave ain't trying to go back to the life of a future Discord mod, he's trying to learn more. And just look at Balthazar over here grinning, he ain't never grinned like this in his life. Type of face you make when your son brings over his girlfriend, I'm taking the wife out on a date, generational ISO. So they pull up to his man cave for Balthazar to teach him. He then gives Dave his incantus and Dave's over here saying he could have sworn it was bigger last time. Turns out it's a grower, not a shower. He starts to unfold it and it becomes massive. Balthazar then creates a huge fiery green circle, calling it Merlin's circle, saying that it will help him learn the art, but once he steps inside there is no going back. Acting like he's Zoe Spencer trying to come at Soul, there is no going back. So Dave then steps inside the circle, hitting the same backstep that Hiccup was hitting, and officially becomes Balthazar's apprentice. Balthazar then throws him some wedding shoes, saying that the rubber ones block out the current. And the first lesson of the day is to learn the Kamehameha. It's the most reliable and basic move. But that boy Dave is over here struggling, stamping his foot like he's got squirrels in his pants. He continues training but is over here hitting himself in the nuts. Future kids are pleading with bro to stop. Horvath then pulls up on the modern day David Blaine to recruit him to join his side, and he's over here disappointed. Morganians have gone from destructive and feared to peoples that just use their powers for shows. This reminds me of back in the day when I was just a little kid. The year 6s were over here looking like full grown men. Nowadays they look like them little kids with them big backpacks. So after a long day of training, Balthazar and Dave go out to get something to eat. They end up spotting Becky and Balthazar's over here telling him not to go to talk to her, it's gonna make him unfocused, and he doesn't have the +5 Riz attributes to do this anyways. But Dave goes to talk to her regardless. They start talking in the subway, but out of nowhere a random guy pulls up, robbing them of all their goods and running off. And Becky over here in distraught, that's her grandmother's bracelet. So being the hero that he is, Dave decides to run after the thief. He looks to exit gate and the thief pulls out a knife, telling him to run back to his little girlfriend. Got Dave over here hyped as hell, thinking they actually look like a couple, but he picks up the bin behind him, sets it on fire and hits Buddy in the head with it, about to turn Buddy into that one picture of Gumball. What is that show even about? I'm over here seeing Darwin talk about some how about this. Gang, what do you mean how about this? Someone really sat there and animated that. So Dave then brings Becky back her belongings and she's over here confused. Buddy was at 6'5", 280, how's he done that? But you know that sleeper build goes crazy. Dave introduces her to Thunder and Lightning. Never judge a book by its cover. Have you seen Moist Critical and Flamingo? Her train then comes and they arrange a date for her to come over to Dave's lab for him to help out with her physics work. So she leaves and Balthazar gon' pull up talking like one of them woke forex traders, saying that women are a distraction, they gotta get back to work. So they continue training the next day and Becky gon' pull up in time for their lesson. Dave goes to answer the door and Balthazar pulls up and gets straight to dirty macking. He must have been DDG's apprentice as well. This is some of the highest level plays I've ever seen, saying that he's Dave's uncle and they have plans to stay in together, making Buddy look weird, but then continues to say that he'll actually leave. He's gotta go into town anyways to pick up Dave's anti-itch cream. I'm not even gonna call this dirty dirty macking, this is straight art. So he then leaves, Dave finished studying, and Dave decides to show her his Tesla coil project, playing the song she was playing on the radio the other night on the coils. Look at her face, if this ain't Riz, I don't know what is. Like I said before, that nerd Riz goes crazy. He then takes her to yoga class the next day, goes into the toilet, and David Blaine gon' pull up on him, over here trying to peek into his store. What is he looking at, man? He calls him the Prime Millennium, which has Dave over here confused, and tells him to hit him with his best shot. All the training went out the drain, the pressure got to him, over here looking like KSI in a boxing match, technique went straight out the window. Horvath then pulls up telling bro to stop goofing around. Dave tries to leave but bro gon' drag him back. He puts him against the wall, telling him he don't know what none of this is actually about, asking him where the Grimhold is. But Balthazar pulls up just in time, throwing David Blaine across the bathroom. He hits the Hungarian mirror trap trying to push Horvath in it, but Horvath hits a counter, almost reversing it on Balthazar. Buddy over here then wakes up, shooting a blast at them, but Balthazar dodges it just in time, forcing Buddy to hit his own teammate, and Balthazar then hits Buddy into the toilet, got him eating lunch by himself. Dave and Balthazar then pull back up to the lab, and Dave's over here saying that Buddy back there called him the Prime Millennial, and Horvath said that he don't know anything that's going on, so he ain't going through with any more of Balthazar's plans until he tells him what's actually going on. Let me get in my professor bag real quick. So Horvath wants to free Morgana from the Grimhold so she can raise the dead and they can take over the world, but way back when, Balthazar done sold both Veronica and Morgana in the Grimhold, so he's trying to keep them in to save both the world and Veronica's life, and the Prime Millennial is the only thing that could stop Morgana, hence why he's been searching for 1,000 years for Dave. And the ring used to be Merlin's, and cause it works for Dave, he has to be somehow related to him. And Balthazar also tells him that he will truly become the Prime Millennial when he can use magic without his ring. So now that Yap is finally over, Balthazar leaves to run some errands, and Dave tries to clean up the lab cause his dog is over here peeing everywhere. See, this is why I say cats over dogs any day. Just imagine your dog peeing around your house like these. Yeah, you gotta go. Dave then peeps the time and realizes he's got 15 minutes to clean the whole lab before Becky pulls up. Better start blasting that music like he's a black mum on a Saturday morning, about to get everything done in about 5 minutes. So he then grabs his incantus and finds a move to make his cleaning products come to life and clean the whole lab by themselves. And at first everything is going well, they over here sweeping the floor and washing the dishes, but Dave goes to get ready and comes back to see that the whole floor is flooded. They over here acting like their Darbo got no coordination. Dave tries to get them to stop, but they turn around staring at him dead in the eyes and spray him in the face.
But
You can't do this to me. I started this company. Becky then pulls up, he goes to answer the door, but the Breams are over here harassing him from the back. Tried to put the whole stick in his backside, the Breams are freaked out. He then closes the door on Becky, telling her to leave cause he has issues. Got Becky over here bamboozled, the door ain't never been closed on her whole life. He then goes back down the stairs and they done pushed over the cage, making the water a whole pool of electricity. He then holds onto one of the coils, they push it over, and just before he can fall into the water turning into electro, he stops mid-air. Turns out Balthazar done pulled up, undoing the spell and dispersing all the water. They then get into a little argument with Dave saying he's not making any progress, he can barely control a few mobs, and takes off his ring showing that he still can't do magic without it, meaning that he's not the Prime Millennium. He then takes off his church shoes, puts back on his sneakers and goes on a walk to clear his head. And while on this walk, he ends up seeing Becky and her friends in a caf having the time of their lives, and he walks away thinking she now hates him after messing up one date, over here thinking this is a female friendship, miss one birthday dinner and you're cut off. It don't matter what the excuse is, you could have the best opportunity of your life, you missed that dinner, you're done. So Dave pulls up to the top of a building, takes off the ring and is over here contemplating on throwing it off the roof, about to hit someone like a brick, but Becky pulls up just before he can throw it. She done followed him from the caf. So they get to talking and the skyline view is insane work. Buddy's taking notes from Andrew Garfield, but Becky just basically reassures him in this scene that she doesn't hate him after messing up one date. We then cut back to Balthazar. Dave pulls up on him, but Balthazar instantly knew he was an imposter, seeing the black nails, thinking it's Jared McCain, but he gets blasted into one of the coils, tied up, and it's just David Blaine over here. Horvath then pulls up, creates some black smoke to find the Grimhold. Turns out Balthazar done hit it like he's Doctor Strange, and he then gonna pull up in Balthazar's face, basically just calling him a bum, telling him that now he's got the Grimhold, he's now won. But Balthazar breaks his hand out the hold, hitting Horvath with a blast, then breaks his whole body out, gets hit by Kakashi over here but hits him with a blast back. Horvath then gets up, throws some knives at Balthazar's face trying to completely end the fight, but they end up stopping mid-air right before ending Buddy's whole career. They then look up and it was actually Dave that stopped the knives, looking like he just put his all into the simplest move. He runs down the stairs, Horvath and Kakashi run off with the Grimhold and Dave and Balthazar chase after them. So they hop in the V chasing them and Horvath's over here in in the family car. I don't know how they haven't caught up yet. It takes the car about 10 minutes to go 0 to 60. Horvath then turns into another road. Balthazar turns in after, but is just surrounded by a sea of taxis. They don't change their car to blend in. Dave then locks onto the Grimhold and starts shaking her about in their car. Got Buddy over here hitting the Mr. Incredible. So now that they've been fouled, Horvath decides to change their car again, but this time into a whole Ferrari speeding off. This has to be the most useful power. I would fill out a garage of Lamborghinis by the end of the week. But Balthazar also does the same thing, changing his car into something else. I ain't gonna lie, I do not know what this car is. Comment it down. They then get in a high-speed chase, cutting up through the traffic. Horvath goes down the tunnel into incoming traffic and puts up a smoke screen behind them, making it basically impossible for Balthazar to see. I don't know how Balthazar got out of this alive, but he must have spider sense or something, over here dodging cars at the last second. So they then come out the tunnel. Balthazar pulls up right next to their car and Horvath decides to get his get back for the mirror trick earlier, doing the same thing, pushing Balthazar's car into a mirror, sending him to the mirror dimension. And this world is basically a reversed version of the real one, meaning that R. Kelly's an innocent man, and the only way to get out is to go through another mirror. But Horvath's over here destroying every mirror in sight. He ain't trying to let anyone see how chopped he is. Balthazar then sees a mirror hanging by a thread looking like it's about to drop. He drives over to it, the glass drops, and they just about make it free. So now that they're in the real world, they continue chasing them, turning into an alleyway just to see that they turn into a whole dumpster truck. Balthazar hits the reverse. Dave says he has something up his sleeve, but ends up turning that whole car into a beater. And not just a normal beater, but a beater that's out of gas.
Oh no.
Buddy really sold the game. They almost had it in the bag. They then crash into the car and start crushing the V. I don't know why the dog's in there with him. There was no reason to bring him. Could have left him back at the lab. But the crushing stops and Balthazar comes out the car to see that they are no longer in the truck. He tries to chase them on foot, but Horvath's over here resorting to dirty tactics, changing the woman's appearance to Veronica's. Got Balthazar over here in straight awe. He tries to pull her back just for her to change back into a Karen. So Horvath and David Blaine escape. They go back to the lab and we get some lore on who Veronica is and why Horvath is doing all of this. Turns out both Balthazar and Horvath fell in love with Veronica, but Veronica done picked Balthazar over Horvath, making it switch side for Morgana. So basically what this movie is trying to tell me is that Horvath decided to join the enemy and destroy the whole world because he couldn't get no holes. Buddy's really a bum. He decided to end the whole world because he had no game. Buddy, just calm down to one of my wrist lessons, I'll get you right. See, Balthazar already made the smart choice of studying under me 1,000 years ago. That's why he was able to bag Veronica and you weren't. Anyways, we then cut to Horvath and he must be in the betraying mood. He's over here betraying everyone, draining Kakashi of his energy and taking his ring to power himself up. He then opens up another layer of the Grimhold and she gon' pull up on Becky, hitting her with the horror jump scare, acting like she just saw KSI take off his bandana. Fly over here was petrified. But we then cut to Balthazar and Dave pulling up to Horvath's crib trying to find the Grimhold. They split up. Balthazar pulls up to the office and sees that the rising is about to take place in the local park. But Horvath done set a trap, hitting him with some quick carpet, causing him to start to sink down. But as Dave's also looking around, he ends up finding the Grimhold. He goes to pick it up but hesitates, thinking it's that one scene from Indiana Jones. He eventually picks it up but immediately puts his hand down on the podium, thinking 100 spikes are about to come down at him. But I would say something worse happens because Horvath pulls up behind him with Becky, telling Dave to give him both Merlin's ring and the Grimhold to save Becky's life. Buddy's trying to get a 2-for-1 deal. So Dave gives him Merlin's ring and he instantly adds the attachment to his staff, making him more powerful, and then the Grimhold releasing Becky. He then shoots a blast at them. Dave protects both of them and Horvath's over here hitting the most villainous laugh for no reason. Buddy, you're just like the penguin, relax. Balthazar then pulls up on them. Dave explains that he had to give away the ring and the Grimhold, but Balthazar says it's okay, he would have done the same thing. He then leaves, saying that he's going after Horvath, jumping off the building and flying off in his steel eagle. I don't know how no one on the floor looked up and saw a whole giant eagle flying about. Nowadays this would have been posted by News Daddy in 5 seconds. Dave then calls his homeboy while he's on a date, telling him that he needs him to come to the lab right now, and I wouldn't even be mad if Buddy crashed out right here. He's got a beautiful African queen in front of him and the white man's trying to take him away. I'ma have to unleash Dr. Uma because I am not leaving. And is this Rowley from the start of the movie? If so, that tan goes crazy. I know all the pale white girls are hitting him up, asking him where he got it done, just for him to gatekeep like crazy. So Dave and Becky hop in the V and Dave ends up explaining everything to her, and she must be Nancy, walking down Wheeler's long lost sister, because she's down with the smoke, saying she wants to help out.
You're sexy.
that boy Dave is just like me. So they pull up to the lab with the homeboy and devise a plan to stop Horvath. Horvath then pulls up to the park and opens up the Grimhold, awakening both Morgana and Veronica. Over here waking up like they're the evil lightskins. So they finally awaken and Horvath's over here thinking it's Veronica.
No.
First words that came out of her mouth was telling bro to stop looking like such a bum. He instantly knew it was Morgana. She then tells bro to burn the Grimhold after being stuck in there for almost 2,000 years. She never wants to see it again and starts the rising. Got Dave over here looking up in the sky confused. Becky's looking at him crazy. She can't see a thing. He then peeps at her bouncing off the satellites. So pulls up to the radio station and tells Becky she has to go up there and move it to disrupt the signal. And you know she's scared of heights. Go have her over here looking like chunks. But before she leaves, Dave asks her what she ticked on the note 10 years ago, friend or girlfriend. And Becky says that if he comes back alive, she'll tell him. I know Buddy's gonna be tryharding now. He needs this. We then cut back to Horvath and Balthazar's over here looking like Shark Boy in the water. Horvath tries to throw the Grimhold into some fire, but Balthazar stops in mid-air, bringing it over to him. He boosts up a Rasengan and tries to hit Horvath with it, but he stops his arm mid-air. Buddy's got 4 new attachments on his staff. He might as well be hacking right now. He then hits Balthazar with a home run and brings the metal ball behind him to life. Over here charging at him head down, horns in the ground. Yeah, he's seeing nothing but red. But Balthazar weaves the attack and runs over behind the car with the ball still charging at him. Over here looking like he's the last one alive against the gorilla. The ball then sends the car flying. Balthazar weaves again, but Horvath hits him with a sweep with a letterbox. And Morgana done finished the rising, bringing a bunch of random dead people back to life. They about to wake up on some Captain America time and Buddy saw a black person and was not impressed. But Dave then pulls up with a coil attached to his car, hitting Horvath's staff with it, sending it flying away. And Balthazar finishes him off, hitting him with an energy blast. I know damn well that did not kill him. Buddy just tired of Morgana's plan. He finally realized that there's other girls out there. This is not worth destroying the world for. Over here pretending to be asleep like he's Shikamaru. But the ball then goes to finish the job and the eagle comes out of nowhere, snatching it up. And Becky also finally reaches the top of the tower, moving the satellite and disrupting the signal, ending the live event. Lasted for a good 30 seconds. Most of the guys watching right now can't say the same. Morgana then falls down, they run over, and Balthazar decides to do the same thing Veronica did, bringing Morgana into his own body. And Veronica's over here waking up, hella confused. One day she's chilling in 740 AD. Duke Dennis just became the commanding officer of the army, and now she's waking up to see Balthazar talking in her face with his hot breath. Balthazar then throws Dave the Grimhold, telling him to seal him away, but Morgana go come out his body regardless. Buddy was way too musty to stay inside. So now that Morgana's free and out of her body, she charges up a firebolt, shooting it at the squad. But Dave gon' stop the fire, protecting them without a ring, officially making him the Prime Millennium. Got Veronica over here in shock. She think about leaving Balthazar and jumping over to Dave, but the fire then stops and Morgana blasts Veronica and Balthazar, sending them flying back. And Dave decides to look in, firing up 2 Rasengans, combining them into one and firing off a Kamehameha. Buddy hits straight air. He then looks onto Morgana and starts shooting a bunch of blasts just for her to weave every single one. She ain't even got a physical body, this just ain't fair. Morgana then says it's her turn, shooting a bunch of blasts at him, but he puts up a shield to block them. And turns out the first shot was not an airball at all. He brought the cables to life like he did with the brooms. They climb up the lamps, Morgana breaks his shield completely and he tells the broom to switch on the lever, causing Morgana to get hit with a bunch of electricity from the lamps, just like the Tesla coils. Done shut down all the power throughout the whole of New York. Just imagine you got a parlay on a game, bet your whole life savings on it. Jalen Brunson's about to take the last shot to win you $200,000 just for the whole TV and the arena to shut down. Dave then charges up another Kamehameha and Buddy must think this is Power Rangers. He don't put a switch on it. He starts blasting Morgana and Buddy does not stop until she is fully gone, eliminating Morgana. He then goes to pull up on Balthazar to celebrate, but Veronica's over here telling him he's cooked. Morgana done hit bro with a 200 pump, he's done. But Dave over here ain't taking no for an answer. He's finna celebrate with him today, making a circle around him and turning his hands into a defibrillator, zapping him in his chest. And at first it's looking pretty bleak. I don't know if Buddy is actually coming back. But Balthazar eventually wakes up and Buddy just came back hella freaked out, instantly getting up and starts kissing Veronica, not even a word said. I just know these guys were freaked out back in the day, 100% that one couple in school. Becky then pulls up, they start kissing as well, and she actually reveals that she wrote girlfriend all them years ago. Buddy's really waited 10 years to get this girl, but he then asks her if she wants to go have dinner in Paris. He done got a first class ride, over here acting like he's Omni-Man. They fly off and this is now the end of the movie. I know a lot of you guys forgot about this absolute classic, I had to reinstall it back into your memory. Even I low-key forgot how tough this was. But hey, this is now the end of the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. All glory to God, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.